everybody. Today is a complicated one for sure. People want to know, what is a key? People always are asking, what key are we in? But what does that mean? What is a key even? Do I open doors with it? What's going on? So I'll try to answer that question. This one's going to be a little more complicated. But again, I'll remind everybody, tomorrow, November 27th, between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m., I'll be on Z99. I'm going to play a few songs live with Tommy Lee on the radio. Also, after that, on the 12th, December 12th, I'm going to be on Yesternight on KX92 with Rexford Sweetwater, playing some songs there and hanging out with him for Yesternight. So, a couple of radio things coming up. That's pretty cool. December 13th, Friday right after that, I'll be playing at the Palmer House in Sauk Center. I'll probably start off around 7. It's kind of loosey-goosey at the Palmer House. Last time I did like 7 to 10. I'll probably at least play till 9. If people are there and having a good time, I'll go till 10 again, but we'll we'll see what happens. If you don't show up at 9:30, if you're like, oh man, why aren't you playing at 9:30 and no one was there, then I was tired and I stopped. I don't have to play till 10. Sometimes I just do because I like to keep the party bumping. After that, the 28th, I'll be at the Eagles Club in Alexandria. There's a holiday show. Bill Pulowski, William J. Campbell, J.T. Fremont, and myself are all on the bill, and maybe more. I don't know. I think they're still working on it. But Ramp Productions and Dismill Records is putting on a holiday benefit show for St. Jude's Hospital at the Eagles Club, December 28th. So check that out. Come have fun with us on the holidays. Hear some live music. I think that's what I got going on for December so far. Okay, so what is a key? What is a key? So a key is... Hold on a second. Okay, so we're going to take a camera break. We're going to change camera angles. Okay, so here we're looking at my piano, my Yamaha keyboard. It's not really a piano, but you can see I got my marker written on it to help me remember where all the notes are. So let's basically, a key is an arrangement of half steps. So what is a half step? So each key each movement up, including the black ones, is a half step. It's the same if you play guitar. A fret on a guitar, each fret you move up the string on a guitar is equivalent to a half step. So these are the same as moving up one fret at a time on your guitar string. And so if you look here, all the white keys are in the key of C. Why is it C? I don't know. They just named it that way. But if you're not familiar with any theory at all, you can kind of see that they do kind of go alphabetically. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then they start over at A. And then there's the black keys for like flats and sharps, but that's pretty complicated. So basically what makes a key is that there's a pattern of where these half steps are. Like you can see between C and D, we skip a black key, right? Same between D and E, but between E and F, and between B and C, where we start the scale over again, because it's basically the same. That's an octave. That's an interval called an octave. It's almost like the same pitch as opposed to, you can kind of hear a harmony there. That's a different interval. By the time we get to that octave, it's almost like it's the same frequency again, and the key starts over. Between the E and the F and the B and the C, there's no black key, is there? So that kind of, this pattern of where there's half steps in the key is kind of what makes, well, this is what makes it a major key, or a diatonic scale. So when somebody says we're in C major, that's what they mean, is that it's a group of pitches that when played kind of makes that scale sound. And what makes it major is between the 1, 2, 3, 4, between the third and the fourth tones, 5, 6, 7, 8, and between the seventh and the eighth tones, that's where your half steps are. So let's say we were jumping back to that A over here. This would be a minor scale. Maybe you've heard that, like we're in A minor as opposed to C major or A major. So A minor has all the same tones, all the same pitches that C major does, but the half steps are between the second tone and the third tone, and the fifth tone and the sixth tone. So it's all the same pitches, but because those half steps are at different places in the scale, it's kind of a different mode, I guess would be the term. It's a different mode. It's the same tones as in the key of C major, but it's like a different mode because of those half steps. So I guess to answer the question, what is a key? It's a certain group of pitches, right? You know, when we're in C major, we're not going to be using any of these 5 pitches, these black keys. Those pitches are out, and all the white pitches are in. Kind of the Jim Crow key, if you will. So if we were in G major, to keep that, it'd be a G major has the same half-step pattern between the 3 and the 4 and the 7 and the 8. But it's one little different group of tones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now to get to that whole step between the 6 and the 7, I got to use a black key to get that F sharp in there. So that's why you use black. So see what I mean? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a major scale. But because it starts on a G as opposed to a C, we got to use the F sharp to keep that same half step pattern to make it a major scale. So now I'm trying to relate that idea to the guitar, right? So this is my low E string, and so here on the 8th fret, man, I hope that's in tune. I did not check. So with my second finger on the 8th fret, I'm playing a C. So no. So that's the same pitches as I played on the piano. I find that if you learn that scale pattern, it's a little bit easier to change keys on the guitar, right? Because like I showed you on the piano, once you start changing keys, you have to include some of the black keys. It's almost like piano is one long guitar string, whereas guitars are like 6 pianos. But if you learn that pattern there, which there's other videos online too that can slow that down for you if you're interested in learning that diatonic major scale pattern. If you learn that pattern and you want it like that, I'm starting it on C, but if someone's like, hey man, can you play it in G? I just slide down. If I want to find my G, it's like E, F, G on my third one right there. Again, they go in order. But because that E and the F, that's a half step between those two instead of a whole step, so you gotta know that. But here I am on my G. It's like the fingering is exactly the same. If you know that pattern, it's pretty much gravy for playing a major scale, and you can start anywhere on this top string to get a whole, myriad of keys. I guess, 12 of them, I guess. But whereas on piano, you gotta learn different kinds of fingering, and those black keys really kind of muck it up when you're trying to shift keys around. But basically, why would you do that? Why would you change keys? Sometimes when you're playing certain instruments, unlike the piano and the guitar, like let's say you're playing with some brass instruments or some woodwinds or something like that. Some of those instruments in the orchestra, they are built in a certain key, and like you kind of have to figure that out. Like a harmonica only has certain harmonicas. You have to get a whole set because some of them are only have pitches in a certain key. There's like a D harmonica or C harmonica. So in order to be able to play with that instrument, you got to be able to know what key it's in and play those pitch ranges so that it doesn't sound, so it harmonizes. And sometimes when you're singing too, you'll be trying to learn a certain song, and the melody of that song is kind of uncomfortable with the pitch range you have available in your voice, and sometimes moving it up or down. If I'm in G and it's a little too low for me, maybe I'll move it to G sharp or A and find that range of pitches that suits my voice. So changing keys, I think, really has to do with, sometimes changing the key of a song that maybe you're used to hearing it on the radio in A, and you're like, I'm gonna bring that down to G to kind of give it a more relaxed feel, maybe. Or sometimes it's for comfort, sometimes it's an artistic style, but really, in short, what is a key? It's a group of pitches. It's a group of pitches that we've agreed to use in theory. It helps when you're jamming. It helps communicate to other musicians. I think it helps you learn songs faster if you know what key a song's in, then you know what pitches you're going to be using. I think it just helps. It helps learn music. It helps communicate with musicians. And I think it helps writing too. So I hope that was a little bit helpful and instructive. And yeah, again, don't be afraid to leave questions in the comments section. And thanks for watching. Oh, and just, lastly, as kind of like a PS, I wanted to give a shout out to a couple of YouTube channels. Marty Music, Marty Schwartz, and Justin Guitar. They help me learn a lot. If you're looking to learn a cover song, like a lot of times when I Google like how to play this song, it's usually one of them that's teaching me how to play it. So that's a couple of good resources for you. Like I mentioned, like there's other videos out there to learn how to play scales and stuff. Luckily YouTube is a great resource nowadays to learn a lot about music and guitar. So there's just a couple channels that are, if you're wanting to learn more, that I think are good resources for anyone. So, all right, thank you. As I've been editing this video, I just got confirmation that I'm going to be able to play in a showcase in Ames, Iowa at the Angry Irishman on December 6th. So yay, another show. Awesome. Thanks, everybody.